Okay, my sweet friends, I missed you. I missed you. Well, not so much. I had such a great time. But if I wasn't having a great time, I would have deeply missed you. Anyway, God bless you. I had 4 days with Rabbi Moshe Weinberger and Rabbi Manis Friedman and Rabbi Y.Y. Jacobson and Rabbi Dov Ber Cohen and Rabbi Joey Rosenfeld and Rabbi Shlomo Katz and Rabbi Kursi and Rabbi David Aaron. Like, Shalom Aleichem.
How are you?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
Good.
Right. So we're expanding our consciousness here. Consciousness expanding substances we're taking this morning. God bless you, child.
I know what's going on.
Yeah.
No time.
Fantastic. So we're taking some consciousness expanding substances this morning. It's called the Siddur. The Siddur prayer book is a consciousness expanding guidebook. And we've been through the morning brachas and all of the morning stuff, which is physical. And now we're in the second stage, which is emotional. Pesukei D'Zimra, verses of praise. Where we're opening up our heart to everything that we're meant to see in the universe. Because people usually only see the surface level. Yeah, tables and chairs and annoying people and financial issues and self-esteem stuff and relationships issues and my career goals and the Super Bowl and stuff like that. Very surface level existence. And we want to go into the panemius. The panemius is what's lying underneath the surface. What's really lying underneath the surface. So some people think that, the material world, the physical world is all there really is, but we now know that really the material physical world has no essence, no existence of its own. It's just a projection of consciousness, really. Quarks, energy. So we want to try and see through that, and that's what Judaism is. Judaism, Torah, Halacha, Mitzvahs. It's a guidebook to seeing through the surface and revealing the panemius. And lots of Torah, you learn, what am I doing? When? What do I have to do? When do I do it? How do I do it? Who does it? But really the real Torah is why do we do it? And what are we achieving through doing it? So at the moment we're opening up our hearts, expanding our emotional awareness. We're going through Pesukei D'Zimra, and we've reached the pinnacle of Pesukei D'Zimra, the heights of Pesukei D'Zimra, and it's called Ashrei. Ashrei Yeshvei Beisecha. Now, if you're running short of time, or you only have enough concentration to say one Tehillim in Pesukei D'Zimra, this is the one. The halacha says you have to say Baruch Sha'amar at the beginning. It's a bracha at the beginning. Yishtabach at the end, and in between, Ashrei. Then you will have fulfilled Pesukei D'Zimra, just with those three things, that's all. Everything else are extra beautiful, amazing things that we add, that you really want to add, but rather say less and mean it, than say more and don't mean it. That's it. Rather say fewer words with kavana than many words without kavana. And it's basically Psalm 145, which is, these are the last 5 Psalms we're going into of the whole book of Psalms, Tehillim. And therefore they're really the pinnacle. They're what everything's been building up to these ones. But we shlooped on a couple of psukim before, and we start with Ashrei Yoshvei Veisecha Od Yelalu Chasela. Now, the Gemara says an amazing and interesting thing, that anyone who says Ashrei 3 times a day is guaranteed to have a place in the world to come. Isn't that cool? You say Ashrei Yoshvei Veisecha, you say this, 3 times a day, you're in. And we do it, by the way. We say it now in Pesukei D'Zimra. We say it after Shemona Esrei, and we say it before Mincha 3 times a day. So we say it 3 times a day. So what I suggest to you, it's brilliant. Just go to Tel Aviv, get wasted, do whatever you like, but just before you go to sleep, say Ashrei 3 times. That's my advice for you. So that clearly can't be what it means. Da. This is what the Eitzah Chavod says. Da. Ki ein kavanato elo lepnimiyot devarim. When the Gemara teaches that anyone who says Ashrei 3 times a day is guaranteed to have a place in the world to come, understand, have true awareness. That doesn't mean, that only means the panemius. That only means you're saying it, but you're understanding what you're saying it and who you're saying it to. You can't just reel it off. Lo lechitzon shebehem, not the chitzonius, not the external stuff. Remember, you're a Jew. We want you to go beyond the external and superficial life. That's it. We want you to be living a panemiistic life, which means an inner life. And for some people that sounds a bit intense. Like, deep inner. No, it doesn't have to be, because your inner world is, firstly, it's much more real than your external world. Your psyche, thoughts, emotions, roles, jobs. It's just a temporary thing, slavery that you built up. Your inner world is much more real. It's not more tangible, actually. It's not more tangible. This is definitely more tangible. But it's more real. So if you're living on a very surface level life, superficial life, you won't ever reach the depth of self-awareness. You won't ever have true relationships with other people. You won't ever have the true joy of spiritual connection. So it will be a waste of time. Everyone in the world can just say this 10 times. So it can't mean just to say it. So that it would be easy to get into Olam Haba. You've got to say it with kavana. So the word kavana, very, very important word, translated usually as intention. You have to have intention. And really, when we say intention, there are 2 main parts of intention, or mindfulness, really. Kavana comes from the word kivun, which means direction. So one of the meanings is, where are you going with this? What's your intention? My kavana is my direction. So our kavana in Judaism is God. That's where we're going. I'm going towards God, spirituality. I'm going towards peace of mind. I'm going towards joy. I'm going towards love. I'm going towards connection. I'm going towards compassion. I'm going towards kindness. So if you see anything in your life which isn't taking you towards health, love, peace, joy, compassion and kindness, I don't think you should be engaging in those things that particularly much. They're not taking you to where you want to go. It's strange to be investing in things that actually aren't making you a more healthy, happy, connected, loving, sweet, spiritually aware person. I personally wouldn't do that, because I know that's not taking me to the life I want to live, and the husband I want to be, and the father I want to be. So I'm not going to do those things. The other meaning of kavana, apart from direction, motivation, is attention. Are you focused? Am I focused on what I'm doing? Do I have kavana? Am I putting on my tefillin with kavana? And our sages say mitzvah shrichas kavana. It's not really called a mitzvah if you don't have kavana. If you're just putting it on out of ritual or to impress other people, it's not really a mitzvah. By the way, it's better than nothing. I'd still do it, but you're missing a lot. It's like throwing a bunch of flowers at your wife. There you go. I did it. And you're like, hey, why are you complaining? I gave you your stupid flowers. So doing mitzvahs, just throwing them in Hashem's face, is like, it's cute. Or actually, maybe my wife wouldn't even like flowers. She'd rather not get flowers than have flowers thrown at her. Diamond rings, she'd probably still prefer to get it than no, they have it thrown at her. But in fact, the Navi says, the prophets say that Hashem doesn't want. He says your offerings are stinky to me. I don't even want them. If you don't mean them, they stink. I'm not interested. Yeah.
I have the impression that as an illiterate in Hebrew right now, I feel it's difficult, I would say, to build kavana, because when I read, even if I know the prayer by heart, I don't really understand what it means. So, for example, so when we do the Shema in the first phrase, now I understand what it means, and now I understand more, the depth, and it's easier for me. So I think that learning, I would say Hebrew, understand what the prayer is definitely.
And until you learn Hebrew, you say it in French. Hashem understands French. 100%. The Rambam says, if you pray Shmona Esrei, and you say all the words perfectly, but you had no idea what you were saying, you didn't pray. It's not called praying. It's called saying words. You've got to start again. So you say it in French, and Hashem loves French. Amazing. No, you shouldn't say it in French. I say it in Japanese because that's. So fine. So you got to let's have some kavana in our life. Am I focused on what I'm doing and why I'm doing it? That's it. What and why? Very important. So it starts like this. Ashrei Yoshrei Veisecha. Praiseworthy are those who sit in your house. Or even happy, praiseworthy, happy. Aisha means happiness as well. And this really, what does it mean to sit in Hashem's house? Can you sit in Hashem's house? Well, you obviously can, because it says praiseworthy are those who do it. So for now, most simple meaning, we're going to say the Beit Knesset, the Beit Midrash. We don't have a Beit HaMikdash, we don't have the temple at the moment, but we have synagogues and study halls, and those are places made for Hashem, for learning Torah and praying. Those are how we connect to Hashem. So those for now are called Hashem's house, but obviously on a deeper level it means your own heart. Your heart is meant to be a house for Hashem. Does Hashem bilvavi mishkan evne? In my heart I build a dwelling place for Hashem. But if your heart is full of ego or physical desire, then there's no space for Hashem. So Hashem's like, I really want to come and hang out in your heart with you, but I just can't fit in there because it's so full of your stuff. Yes?
Can we say that the whole world is like the Makom?
Yes, we can. However, it then makes nothing special.
Or it can make everything special.
No, that doesn't exist. I love every woman in the world equally. I love everyone as much as I love my wife. So therefore they're all special. No, my wife's special. That's why marriage is called Kiddushin. There's some sanctification where I'm setting it apart. Now, is Hashem equally in the Beit HaMikdash, in the Holy of Holies, as He is in the bathroom? Of course He is. Hashem animates every particle. However, Hashem says there are special places of a high density Wi-Fi connection. It's just better Wi-Fi there, and those are the special places. Why are they? Because we set them aside. Not the Beit HaMikdash. Hashem says this is the place. But now that we don't have that, we can say, okay, what I'm doing is, just like I set aside my wife from all other women, and I say she is sanctified to me, I set aside places, and I call them Beit Knesset, the house of gathering. They're not called synagogues, but I don't know what the word synagogue even means. It's a house of gathering. A beautiful thing, Beit Knesset. And what are we gathering for? To praise Hashem. Awesome. And it's a house to learn Torah. But you are 100% right, Yosef. You should be walking around in God's house everywhere you are. You're on the mountains, you're in the metro. You can have the consciousness that this is also Hashem's house. Although, just say you're not allowed to think about Hashem or talk to Hashem when you're in the bathroom, for example. So you're actually not allowed to. You can't sit in the bathroom and say, Hashem, I actually know you're here too. You're not allowed to actually do that. So you've got to get the balance. There's got to be some special. So Ashrei Yoshrei Beisecha, just say that firstly, I think I found it in here. Just sitting in a Beit Midrash, here we go. The Beit Abraham, watch this. What does it mean, Ashrei Yoshrei Beitecha, Od Yahalelu Chasela? Praiseworthy are those who dwell in your home. Now, firstly, the basic meaning of that is that you are present with God. Ashrei Yoshrei Beitecha. People who sit and just become present. There's something called Yishuv Hadat. Yishuv Hadat means peace of mind, really settling your mind. So just to be present with God, rather than, our sages say that you are where your thoughts are. So if you're thinking about your business whilst you're praying, then you're not praying, you're not standing in front of God, you're in your business. You are where your thoughts are. So, Yishuv Hadat means I'm with Hashem. I'm always like removing my thoughts so I could be present with Hashem. Ashrei Yoshrei Beitecha. But he says this. Baram yeshtei dagod b'yoshrei beis Hashem. It seems to be two levels of sitting in Hashem's house. Ashrei Yoshrei Beitecha, praiseworthy are those who sit in your house. Od Yahalelu Chasela, they will always praise you. They will praise you more. Actually, Od, really, they'll praise you more. They're going to praise you more. Ashrei Yoshrei Beitecha, Ashreichem shal elu hayoshvim bebeit Hashem yitbarach. Afim eino oiskim b'yeshiva shel makom. Praiseworthy are those who hang out in study halls and shuls, even if they aren't learning or praying. Now, they can't just be sitting there like begging or whatever. Maybe. But just to be in a holy place, lahavdil elif hadalim, completely different, a whole different world, a whole different life. But I used to go and sit in churches because they're very peaceful places. They had some, in my mind, had some sanctity to them. There was these are places of prayer. And I used to like sitting in churches. Long time before you were born, before I was born. And an amazing thing. I actually played for the Presbyterian Church football team in Jeju Island off the coast of Korea. But I actually never went to the church. Because at that point I was like, Jews don't go to church. Even though I hadn't come anywhere near yeshiva yet. Yes, if you used to do that too. You got very excited.
No, I didn't have my hand up.
No. So, but your face had a question. And I used to sit in Buddhist temples. On my island off the coast of Korea, one of the biggest Buddhist temples in Asia, just to sit in these sanctified places. Now I know what true Kedusha is. I realize they didn't have Kedusha, they didn't have true holiness, but they had a feeling of, they were quiet in there. It's a place that you knew that people, when they came there, they had some respect, and they had some prayer, and they opened their hearts. So just to sit in holy places, praiseworthy are those who sit in holy places. Obviously, Beisecha now would say that doesn't include churches and temples. Those aren't Hashem's houses. I thought they were at the time. They're not. We have houses for Hashem. They have mezuzahs on them sometimes. Actually, not every Beit Knesset does. Different halacha, yes.
Do you think that Hashem created the other religions for the women?
I don't think he created the other religions. I think he only created one religion, and humans created the other religions. Yeah.
What does Selah mean?
Selah, actually, one meaning that I heard, a Selah is a basket. Like, how we say it is just like, Selah, it's like, hooray, but it means basket, and it's like saying, take whatever you just said, and put it in your basket. It's yours now. Take it with you, like integrate it. Make that yours. Selah. But I think the basic meaning, like you can see, Art Scroll doesn't even translate Selah.
Right.
It just says Selah. So it doesn't really have a translation. It's just like, hurrah! But that's what I heard. Selah means basket, so this is part of me now. I'm carrying it with me forever.
Then, can I ask a second question? So, how do you know what is holy versus not holy? Based
The
on
Torah tells you. That's what halacha is there for. That's what mitzvahs are there for. This is holy, this isn't. And there are different times. The day after Sukkot, lulav and netrog is not holy at all. You throw it in the bin. But for 7 days, they're the holiest things. You can't drop them. You can't. Got to respect them. Day after, nothing. No holiness. Bam, finished. Throw it out. It's less than a lemon. Very powerful. So holiness is in time and place and person. By the way, you become a holier person through doing certain things, certain thoughts. Go to the mikveh. Okay. So watch this. So he says the first thing is just be in holy places. It's very good for you to be in holy places. That's why just being in Yerushalayim or Sfat or Mezhibus, these are very holy because it's good to be in these places. It says just being in Israel. Every 4 steps you take in Israel is a new steps is opening up another part of your neshama. I walked the whole length of Israel from the Lebanese border to Eilat, and I was just like, well, opening up my neshama here. So whenever I can, take a different route, I'll go take a different route. I'll be like, it's like Pac-Man basically. Kedusha, every 4 steps, I'm Pac-Manning my way through Israel. Pumping up myself. Ashrei Yoshvei B'Tzecha, Od Yeluch HaSelah. Hari, Etzem Yeshivatam B'Beit HaYitbarach, Megina Matzila Alehem. So even just being in the holy places gives you a holy consciousness and gives you some kind of divine protection. So this is why I'm very blessed to have this job. Although I don't actually get to be in the basement just that much. But whenever I have a one-on-one with students and they said, where should we meet? Should we meet in the balcony? I'm like, Beis Midrash. Just be in the Beis Midrash. This is where people are learning and connecting to Hashem. What an amazing place to be. You just want to be in there as much as you can be in there. It's amazing. Od yalulu chasela. What does od? Yoyte tov yalulu chasela bli efsek oiskim heim b'shivcha yidbrach. So, and then od yalulu chasela. Even more great than that is to actually use your time in those holy places to do holy things, to praise Hashem, to learn. That's why, by the way, in the Beis Midrash, you're not sitting like this. Yeah, well, Tosfos says this. No, you don't sit like that in Hashem's house, you crazy. Sit up like a mensch in Hashem's house. You're going to go into the Rosh Yeshiva's office, you've got a one-on-one with the Rosh Yeshiva, and you're like, yo, Rosh Yeshiva, man, what do you think about this, man? You're going to sit, you sit in the Rosh Yeshiva's office, you're mamish sitting in front of a gadol, a tzaddik, you're like sitting. So you're sitting in the Beis Midrash, you're not going to do the same. That's why we say, for example, you want to, if you can, don't get all weird OCD about it. You want to put on your tefillin before you go in. Tefillin you put on outside, and then you walk in to Hashem's house. Make sense? You're going to tuck your shirt in after you get into the Rosh Yeshiva's office or before? Go tuck your shirt in, and then you walk in. So you put on your talis, if you have a talis and tefillin, and then you can walk in. And you're going to stop. We spoke about this before, but stop. Don't just walk in. You're going to stop. Like, I'm about to walk into Hashem's house. That's amazing. Very excited. If your favorite sports star or actor or whoever it was invited you to their house, and the door opened, you'd have a moment of like, whoa, I'm about to walk into LeBron's house. Sick. LeBron is very good at bouncing a ball. So excited, you're good at bouncing a ball. You walk into Hashem's house, created the whole universe out of nothing, keeping your heart beating for free. Unbelievable. So, Ashrei Yoshvei Beitecha. So really our sages say that you're meant to take some time before you start praying to just sit and become present. That the purpose of saying Ashrei before Mincha even is to, don't just rush straight into it. But then what people do is they just rush Ashrei and they're like, ugh. So you want to take a few moments even before Ashrei. The Pele Yoet says you should daven before you make a bracha. Before you even make a bracha, you should daven and say, Hashem, please help me make this bracha with kavana. Hashem, please help me eat consciously. And then you say a bracha. So and then some people say, no, you got to pray to be able to pray. And then you just be praying all day, and that's not a bad thing. And if I pray all day, I won't have time to check my phone. And that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. Ashrei Yoshvei Beitecha. So the Gemara in Brachos says that the Chasidim Rishonim hayu shoyin sha'achas umitpalelim. The early pious ones used to sit for an hour meditating, and then they'd start praying. That's pretty cool. And if they had to do that, I think we got to do it as well. Now, you don't have to sit for an hour, but you have to sit for a minute. Don't rush into mincha. Okay, quickly, mincha. No, you sit. Ashrei Yoshvei Beitecha. So the Kahati, one of the main commentators on the Mishnah, says, what does shayin mean? Liyashev datan, in order to settle their mind. You're running around. You got your job. You're in Brooklyn, you're a real estate agent, you got all these deals, then they're like, okay, mincha, obviously got a mincha in your office, and you go, you've got so much on your mind, that deal, and what that person said to me, and why is my secretary not working hard enough, and what's happening with my wife and kids. You can't then go and Ashrei Yoshvei Beitecha and rattle off your mincha and then go home. You need to sit and become present. And he carries on and says, get your thoughts away from all your iskehen, all your business matters. Anything that you're thinking about, come and be present. That's aside now, I'm now being present. The Rambam, what does the Rambam say? Lashkit machshavatam, to quieten their thoughts. Same thing. Just quieten your thoughts. Go quieten your thoughts, become present. The Rebbe Rev Elimelech, they were Chashvu Roime Mas'el. They were thinking of the exaltedness of Hashem. Different type of meditation. Kahati and Rambam speak about passive meditation, clearing your mind. Rav Eli Melech is like filling your mind with like thoughts of how awesome Hashem is. The Ramchal says it's basically a mixture. First, daichin esem achshavas atzarot. They would push away the foreign thoughts. Va'az mitmeleim ha'ahava v'hayira tzricha. And then they would fill their minds with love and reverence as you need to. So they did passive meditation, clearing the mind, and then active meditation, filling their mind with Hashem. And then they started praying. It wasn't like, oh, I just stuffed my face with too much lunch and I'm running in. They're already on Poteach et Yadecha. You're like, I can chap this. If you didn't get Ashrei Yoshvei, I think you missed that minyan. Go to the kata. You're like, no, I can chap it. I can get it. You're not chapping nothing. You can chap it, but you don't chap mincha. You don't chap mincha. You save a mincha. Lunch you can chap. I'll just chap some lunch. I'll just eat to keep myself alive. Mincha you have to savor. People the other way around. They're savoring lunch. Oh, look at this hot sauce. Unbelievable hot sauce. And then they chap mincha. You got to choose what you want to savor and what you want to chap. You want to savor mincha and chap lunch. Well, maybe just, you don't need lunch. God, you need lunch every day. So institutionalized, you're not even hungry necessarily. But it's lunchtime. So what? Eat healthy food when you're hungry. Crazy diet idea. Anyway, Ashrei Yoshvei V'Yiseicha Ad Yirei Chesed. Shabbos.